Okay, today we're going to learn about different parallelogram properties. I am sorry I'm not at school today, but my son was running a 104 fever on Monday. It went down to 101 yesterday, so hopefully it will go down enough today where I can take him back to daycare tomorrow. So this is the second flap of your foldable. It will help if you use colors for this, but if you don't have any in class today, you can just do it whenever you get home. I will still put this on YouTube so that everybody can watch it from their phones and at home and stuff too. Okay, so we're going to be flipping back and forth from the top of this flap to the bottom of this flap a lot because we have to go over the different properties. I want to show you what they look like whenever we mark them on the shapes themselves. So the first property that we're going to look at is the thing that makes a parallelogram. Opposite sides are parallel. And if you look at this diagram, all of the other shapes, rhombuses, rectangles, and squares, are also parallelograms. So number one for all of them will be opposite sides are parallel. They all have the same 5 properties from parallelograms. So what that looks like whenever you mark it on your shapes is this side will be parallel to this one, and this one will be parallel to this one. We use arrows to mark parallel. And since these are all parallelograms, all of the opposite sides will be parallel to the other side. So if we were to put these on a coordinate plane, the opposite sides would have the same slope. So that is our first property. Our second property is opposite sides are congruent. And remember, these first 5 are the same for all of them. So whenever we mark that on these, they're just little tick marks, and each side that is congruent will look a little different. And I'm not going to mark this on rhombuses or squares yet because those opposite sides are still congruent, but they have a different property as well. So I'm going to mark that differently on rhombuses and squares. So for right now, we're only going to mark it on parallelograms and rectangles. Next, the diagonals bisect each other. So this is diagonals and bisect each other. Oops. Okay, so basically what that means is that these diagonals go making an X in the middle of these, they split each other in half. So that means that this one is split in half from this diagonal. And this one is split in half. Oh, you know what? Since this has 1 and 2, this needs to be 3. Sorry. And this needs to be 4. And I'm going to wait on rectangles and squares because they have another property with their diagonals. They do bisect each other, but they also have a different property as well. Opposite angles are congruent. So that means that this angle is congruent to the one opposite it, so over here. And this angle is congruent to this one. And the other angles are a little bit different, so I'm going to wait to mark those, even though it's still true opposite angles are congruent for the other three as well. But there's something special that happens with those angles in the other three. And then corresponding angles are supplementary. Corresponding angles are supplementary. And all that means is the two angles that are next to each other will add to be to 180. So both of these will add to 180 degrees. And the same thing with these and these two and these two. So each of the two sets will add to be 180. But I'm going to only mark one set so that there aren't marks all over your paper.